Hey listeners, welcome to 30 What Now. This is one of our earlier episodes.
We've evolved our tech since then, so this episode's a bit raw. Feel free to jump ahead or listen into where we started.
Bye!
So we need a jingle, right? So
Yes.
the jingle will go... da-da-da-da-da. Hi, I'm Irian,
I'm Mel!
and this is...
30 What Now?
On the previous episode, we talked a little bit about 3 things that we would like to have done or have done before we were 30. We were thinking it might make sense to flesh that out a little bit. So we spoke a bit about the podcast, video podcast. What's the word for that? Podcast.
Yeah? You actually killed my brain a little bit. Did you see it? Go.
So
Cannot
we
compute.
we spoke a little bit about trying the podcast as a new thing. Still learning.
And now we're experimenting with video. It's either gonna be a video podcast or this is used purely for Instagram.
I still like podcast.
Podcast.
Yeah.
So it's either gonna be a podcast or only for socials.
Trying new things. I thought that was pretty good, and I think, Mel and I were tossing around what we've tried that's new. I think, and what we've learned out of that, or what you've achieved out of that.
Yeah. So like something that I'm really proud of is that I started taking up dragon boating, which is this water-based sport, in 2018. And prior to this, I'm not sporty at all. I don't do exercise. I think I used to use exercise as a mean of losing weight, all that. And so I started taking up this sport, and it led me to being part of the state team. And then I was in the national team last year, and it was a big deal for me because I have always placed myself in a box where I'm just seen as the drama kid, the smart kid. Like, I am a Ravenclaw. I was just about to show you my
The
Raven.
smart kid, she says. You should see the amount of times we've lost the recording. You would have heard the previous episode. It happened again, by the way.
So smart, book smart, like the Ravenclaw. We're good at theatre. We're good at books.
We're good at books.
Books. But never anything else. And I think I love being comfortable with who I am. I love knowing what's my identity, right? And when I first learned I can be a sporty person, it really opened up, I guess, my mind as to what else I can achieve. That's something that I might not have expected myself to achieve, So I did train and I did do a marathon. Like, it wasn't the best. Like, it was like 4 hours and 40 minutes.
It's impressive. You finished it.
Yeah, I would have never expected I would finish it. Like, I prior to trying out any new sport, 5 kilometers, I'm dead, I'm down, I'm gone.
I had a very challenging 5 kilometer run about 5 hours ago, so look, I don't blame you.
Exactly.
It's a real challenge.
Yeah. So I think that's what taught me. Like, trying something new and being able to achieve things through pure perseverance and believing that you're able to do it. Like, that's what it really taught me.
Actually, I don't think I've ever mentioned this to you. It's quite inspiring, actually. You start from, so it's a new sport.
New sport?
Right? You've never done it before.
Yep.
Picked it up, enjoyed it, made a lot of good friends, which we'll talk about in another episode, but made a lot of good friends, which I think is important. Made it into the national team, which I thought absolutely impressive.
Yeah. Basically an Olympian.
Still annoyed me. Whoa. Hold your horses.
If this sport got into the Olympics,
Right, okay.
the
yes.
definition of Olympian is whether the sport is in the Olympics.
The definition of an Olympian is if the athlete has made it into the Olympics team.
And I could have, like, I was in the national team, right?
Okay, yes.
So if
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But the sport is not currently in the Olympics.
we can change that.
Strong advocate, and again inspired, and she still dragon boats.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It hasn't ended. So, it's the start of a journey that changes a lifestyle, which I think is quite important, and probably a message that I think is quite important to share. Again, 31, everything hurts. So this past weekend, I was out snowboarding. We'll talk about that, but definitely injured my knee. Now walking, there's a limp. It's a bit of a limp. I'm being over dramatic. I am. Yes. No. Not gonna lie. It still hurts.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but I'm glad you acknowledge it. That's the most important.
I learned
thing.
drama from you, man.
And honesty.
Ravenclaw, good at books.
Good at books. Good at books. Yeah. You're right. Everything hurts. I came back from a work event on Thursday, and because I was out dancing, out doing my boogie woogie woo, my knees were dead the next day just because I did too many bouncing.
You're 30 when you get injured from dancing.
Yeah.
And by the way, not competitive dancing. This is just dancing.
And not even drank too much, fell on the floor, scraped my knees dancing. Just.
When has that ever happened?
I mean, no, it doesn't. Doesn't. I don't know what. Yeah, sorry. Must be someone else that told me a story.
Must have been someone else in the past.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yes.
But yeah, no, dragon boating. Dragon boating for you, again, I picked up a new, if you can call snowboarding a sport, but picked up snowboarding, not quite competitively, not to the level of Mel, but it's a nice hobby. Again, Australian snow,
We need to help the Australian businesses maybe
also true.
come to Australia for the snow.
They've had a tough couple of years with COVID, with the lockdowns that we've had in Melbourne and Victoria, which we won't get into because that's in the past. But yeah, snowboarding. Trying something new. I never thought I'd be the person to pick up snowboarding, let alone like it.
Yep.
And there was this. Oh, sorry.
No, I was about to say, because we're both from Malaysia, it's not a sport that is commonly spoken about, commonly taken up by people because it's a hot country. And it's not easy to buy the equipment, like it takes money. Going up to snow can be a little expensive as well. But also learning it with strangers, it's not easy. And it's really out of your way.
And one of the things it taught, I wouldn't say it taught me, but you learn along the way that you really need to get past the failure. Day 1, 2019, spent all, for any of you who's ever snowboarded, you will understand. First day, you spent all your time on your ass.
Humbled you.
Whole day. The whole day, don't give up, Brianne. Don't give up. You've got this.
I've spent money on this. Can't give up.
Actually, funny, that didn't occur to me.
Didn't? Okay.
It actually didn't. Because, again, I think it was the year I said, just try something new, right? Like, the hell with it, try something new. Very enjoyable. You kind of shut one eye when you get there. But then, don't give up was my mentality. Again, second day, just as bad, if not worse, injured my wrist, as you do. But then, kept going, again. COVID hit, couple years off, started again last year, really enjoyed it. And I think what it's done for me is, yes, you bypass the failure. I'm not great, by the way. But you get past the failure, and I'm open to trying more new things. Right? Like you do this once, you try something new, you fail at it, you get better at it, you have fun at it, and it's kind of made me think I can do that with other things.
Yep.
Right? So, I might try. I call it unlocking a new skill. I might try and unlock a new skill if I can over the next couple of months. I mean, as we approach summer here in Australia. So yeah, it's been my journey.
So you've taken up other stuff after snowboarding, though, haven't you?
Yeah, well, like I'm gonna try surfing.
Yeah.
Don't hold me to that. I'm gonna try it. Right. Tried it once in the past year. Great. There's something about open space.
Yeah.
There's something about, I know you dragon boat.
Open space.
In open space,
yeah.
Right? Again, with 20 people on a boat, but still. And they paddle, by the way. I've been corrected many times. Don't see it.
People will get super impressed if you understand the difference between. Yeah.
I'm trying to impress.
But who are you seeking validation from?
Oh, apparently you, Mel. I'm trying to get it right. I just want to offend the Olympian, she says.
That's fair.
Again, I mean no offense to any Olympians. This one.
I'm not. It's okay.
So what's the next sport?
So-
What's the next new thing?
So, we have decided, we made a pact to try out to do a triathlon. Now, the hard thing about this is that I've done a mara, sure. He has not. I don't know how to swim. He kind of does know how to swim.
She's never seen it. I could be speaking bullshit.
Yeah, true. He could drown. I could drown.
I think anybody can drown.
Yeah, true. And like you cycle quite a fair bit, which I don't. So
Ish.
like, we're trying to do the try maybe start of next year. We're currently filming this in September, so come January, which is the triathlon that we're thinking about,
Yes.
we'll update you on whether we actually proceeded with the pack.
Yeah, I think it's a challenge, right? One of my colleagues at work actually mentioned this to me. He's got an event that he trains for every quarter, and I thought that was a great thing to think about, like to plan for.
Yep.
So I've got a half marathon. We're throwing all this out there, by the way. Just don't hold me to it. I'm just gonna try. I've got a half in like 6 weeks.
Yeah, keep us accountable for the things that we've just thrown across.
Yeah. So again, there's a triathlon in mid-January that we will sign up for. Is the current plan. Updates to come. Keep an eye out for that. But then, as we were thinking about trying new things, it was all sports related. I'm not the fittest, by the way. I'm not an athlete by any means. I'm not a national athlete, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't blame you.
But it seemed to be all sports related for us, and I found that a bit interesting. So Mel and I were talking, thinking, yes, we'll do what we've just mentioned, but a challenge for us is, what can we try that's non-sporty?
Yeah.
That's new for us.
Yeah. And I think like in Australia, because it's such a sporty country anyway, I feel like whenever people are going outside their comfort zone, it tends to be something active. Like, you know, I know friends who have, like, even salsa dancing in my head feels active.
It's challenging.
It is challenging, but it's all about movement, because I think here we value being healthy and fit. Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting after the try to maybe make a promise to ourselves to try something that is not sport related. So whether that be
Can we do pottery?
pottery.
Yeah.
We can do pottery.
I'm quite keen to try pottery. I really like working with my hands.
Yeah.
Baking bread, cooking. Mel doesn't believe me on the cooking bit. But yes,
Pottery could be a good one.
it'll be quite fun.
We also don't have to do these together.
I feel like we kind of have to. The listeners want to know. The viewers want to know.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if you want to know. I'm just going to assume you want to know.
Maybe. The one thing that I'm trying to do. So I already got another thing on my list.
Okay, which she hasn't told me about. Tell me, Mel.
Okay. I want to write either a play or a book.
Ooh.
And I'm not a writer, but I think I love creating stories in my head. And the other thing is, I'm a failed actress.
She's also a Ravenclaw. She does books.
I do books. But I am not great at acting, right? And what inspired me was Greta, not Thumper, Greta Gerwig.
I was about to say.
Greta Gerwig, the producer or the director of Barbie, was an actress, and I think she was more successful. I'm not saying she's not successful. She is more, but she also produced Barbie, and look at it. It's now highest grossing movie for Warner Brothers of all time,
Yes.
right? So
I still haven't watched that, by the way.
it's great.
Yeah, no, I've heard it's very good.
So good. And if you don't like it, I can't help you. But it just like really opened up the idea of, if you like being in the creative environment, you can try something else. And that's probably like, theatre is probably one of those things I've tried and have failed. I've been in one amateur theatre production.
Which I did go and see.
Yeah.
I did, yes.
But it's been hard trying to get more get into other plays. And that's fine. And I think that's like, I've accepted that maybe isn't my path. But maybe writing is, or the storytelling part could be.
Again, you try, you fail, you learn, you move on. It's probably,
Yeah.
well, that's the message of the day, right? You try, you fail, you move on. As long as you're learning from it, you get something out of it. It's not a waste of time.
Yeah. So maybe in, a year's time?
Let's call it a year.
A year, we'll talk about our new things that are hopefully non-sport related.
Maybe 6 months.
6 months?
Yeah.
I can ride a plane in 6 months. I've been trying to ride a plane for a year now.
Let's call it a year. We'll follow Mel through the journey. I'm very keen to follow Mel through the journey.
And your pottery thing?
That is a class that we'll do together.
Wait.
I don't know if it's a journey.
No, it can be though.
Potentially.
You can do like ranges of classes and then you can start selling pottery, like a pottery babe.
I think we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Or you can do it and then see, and if it's not your thing, we'll find a new
We'll
thing.
try it. You know,
Yeah.
We'll try new things.
Yeah. So I think,
Well,
is that it?
that takes us to the end of it. Look, I think, reflecting on the first couple of episodes we had on the pod, we talked about, again, 30 what now, what are the things that we would like to have done by 30, what have we learned? One of the things today was trying new things.
Yeah.
In the next episode we might talk a little bit about relationships with our parents, which you might recall from the previous episode. We'll flesh that one out a little bit. I think it's actually, funny story, just before we recorded this, Mel was on the phone with her dad. So on the next episode we might flesh that one out. We'll see.
There's nothing to talk about.
The whole-
Maybe?
that's the whole point.
I mean, sorry. I thought you meant the call. The
No,
call.
I'm not gonna flesh out the private conversation you had with your father.
I was like, not everything has to be a content.
Well, your life is content. Thank you for listening.
We'll see you next time.